Hello, my name is Elijah Giao, and this presentation is on the relationship between Japan and America. Disclaimer, this video assignment is for the State and Society in Asia Pacific at San Diego State University. The purpose of this assignment is to help inform key issues related to the country in Asia. The position being advocated may not necessarily reflect the opinions of the students developing the video. Introduction. Hello, my name is Elijah Giao, and welcome to my presentation on the unique relationship between Japan and America. From historical encounters to cultural exchanges and economic ties, the relationship showcases how two nations can evolve from conflicts to collaboration. Our story begins in 1853, with Commodore Perry arriving in Japan, ending its era of isolation. The relationship deepened during World War II, however, culminating in significant conflict, but paving the way for post-war reconstruction, with the US helping Japan rebuild into a modern power. We have some economic collaborations. Today, the US and Japan share one of the strongest economic partnership. Japan is leading investor in American industries, while American companies influence Japanese markets. Tech giants like Sony and Toyota, and cultural exports like Marvel movies and Starbucks are symbols of the symbiosis. We have some Japanese social hubs, which are really important to developing new companies and new technologies. We have Akihabara, and we have the Japanese Institution of Technology. And on the right, we have some tech giants and cultural exports, Marvel, Toyota, and Sony. We have some cultural exchanges. Culturally, the connection is just as vibrant. Sushi and anime have become staples of American culture, while baseball and jazz are deeply appreciated in Japan. This exchange bridges the gap and fosters mutual respect. The first image shown is a Japanese anime called Jujutsu Kaisen, and they're playing baseball, which is an American sport. And the second one is Master Chef Masa Takayama, who is a Japanese sushi chef who moved to the United States to start a business and has become really well renowned. Some modern alliances is that politically, Japan and the US are key allies. Together they address global security challenges, advance technology innovations, and combat climate change. Their alliances reflect shared values and goals. The first image shows Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida shaking hands with President Joe Biden during the joint press conference at the camp. The second one shows Japan signing space collaboration agreements at NASA. And the third one is the United States and Japan having a joint training program with their militaries. In conclusion, the Japanese-American relationship is a testament to how the power of diplomacy and cultural exchange is an evolving story of how two nations can overcome differences to create a better future together. Give a little cartoon on the bottom. I'd like to thank all the sources that I've used here that I have listed for their contributions, and special thanks to the readings from State and Society in Asia Pacific for guiding this project. Thank you very much.
My name is Jonathan Powell, and this is my presentation on the question, what are the new Japanese Prime Minister's plans for solving issues facing Japan? So who is the new Japanese Prime Minister? Shigeru Ishiba is a member of the Liberal Democratic Party who was appointed as Prime Minister on October 1st, 2024. He has a long history in Japanese politics, first being elected to the House of Representatives in 1986. He has also ran for Prime Minister multiple times before winning. He has a more pragmatic and moderate stance on most issues compared to his predecessors, including on climate change and immigration. Today, Japan is facing three main issues. First is demographic collapse, which results from an aging population straining labor needs and the economy. Second are Japan's defense needs, with rising tensions, meaning Japan needs to think more about self-defense. Third are natural disasters, with the results of climate change expected to affect Japan especially hard. Shigeru Ishiba plans to manage the demographic crisis in several ways. He plans on increasing immigration, allowing foreigners to supply the labor force, as well as introducing more young people to the country. Ishiba also plans on reforming the labor market by providing government support for reskilling workers, improving wages, and improving work environments. Ishiba's government also wants to transform the economy by promoting more automation and technology use such as AI, relieving strain off of the labor market. Ishiba also has multifaceted plans on tackling Japan's defense needs. First, Ishiba advocates for strengthening the alliance between Japan and the United States, increasing military and economic cooperation between the two nations. Second, Shigeru Ishiba plans on putting more resources towards Japan's military and acquiring new military technology. Lastly, Ishiba has talked about plans to create an Asian NATO, which would be a military alliance between friendly Asian nations to defend against aggressive neighbors. Finally, Ishiba's government will need to deal with worsening natural disasters as a result of climate change. He plans on mitigating Japan's contribution to climate change by reducing the nation's carbon emissions, planning on hitting carbon neutral by 2050. Ishiba also wants to spend more resources on improving the coastal and rural infrastructure of Japan, which will help prepare for natural disasters and save lives. Lastly, Ishiba has promised to create a government agency dedicated to disaster management, which will aid in the government's response, such as providing food and shelter to those affected.
Natural disasters of Japan and their effect on its citizens. Japan is a very unique geography that sets it apart from most other countries in the world. It is the only country in the world that sits on 4 separate tectonic plates. Because one of these is the Pacific Plate, Japan is also affected by the Pacific Ring of Fire. The island of Japan also sits in an area of the Pacific Ocean where the waters are typically warmer than average, making Japan a very temperate environment. All these conditions make Japan one of the most natural disaster-prone countries in the world, and it is most frequently in danger of earthquakes, tsunamis, typhoons, and volcanic eruptions. While these events don't occur on the daily, they have been known to greatly affect Japan's citizens in the past. Some of the more notable past disasters in Japan's history are the Great East Japan Earthquake of 2011, where Japan was faced with an astonishing and record-breaking magnitude 9.0 earthquake. The Great Kanto Earthquake of 1923, which was the deadliest earthquake in Japan's history, and Typhoon Vera in 1959, which was the deadliest typhoon in Japan history. Focusing on the 2011 earthquake and tsunami alone, this catastrophic event brought devastation to most of East Japan and caused more than $210 billion in property damage. Over 18,000 people were killed and a great number were injured. The devastating wave that followed the earthquake reached heights of 130 feet and traveled as far as 6 miles inland. The 2011 event destroyed over 450,000 citizens' homes and forced many to evacuate. In terms of the age demographic, over half of those killed in the event were above the age of 65, according to a survey made by Saki Sugano at Kobe University. How has Japan responded to the incident? In many ways, the disaster united the citizens of Japan as they worked together to recover from the devastation. Community-led disaster prevention movements became mainstream in schools, community centers, and disaster shelters. New developments were also set forth by Japan to help protect its community against future disasters. These include stronger tsunami barriers on the coast, as well as more research towards lowering earthquake destruction risk in cities. For all of this to take place, the Japanese government declared the next 10 years following the incident a reconstruction period, as well as dedicated over $210 billion to rebuilding. Though the Great East Japan earthquake was devastating, Japan as a country impressed the world with its resilience and ability to come together as a community to rebuild their home.